Hey guys, at long last, it is my great pleasure to welcome you back to the Redbull ECL 2014. It says 2013, but that's because it's the finals for 2013, effectively. So this is day number 4 of competition, and this is effectively our semi-finals for the bubble race portion of the competition. It's Tongfu versus IG. I'm Basecap here providing coverage on behalf of Beyond the Summit. It's great to be joining all of you guys today, and it's my pleasure to welcome to the stream 1437. So, Steven, how you doing? We were just chatting a second ago, but for the sake of the VODs, we'll act like we just turned up.
Turn to ban.
I'm doing okay. How about you, Kip?
I'm doing fine. I mean, yeah, just looking forward to this game. Should be a good one. Hopefully, we don't see a repeat of Game 2 from the group stage, which was an hour-long rat Dota fest where Tongfu got into a good position and then just sent Necrobooks at racks until they won. So, hopefully not a repeat of that one. But both teams have been looking pretty good so far, and it's a pretty important match, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, both teams are actually quite systematic, I would say, like in the way that they play. They tend to get the advantage that they want or the items that they want and just go for the 5-man push. They don't normally do some kind of crazy actions or something like that. They rely more on their heroes and their skills to just pull through.
Yeah, not that there's no room for innovating or doing things interestingly. Like, you can, there are all kinds of opportunities to smoke in the early game. We saw a moment a couple of days ago where Burning TP'd to a lane as Lifestealer, jumped inside a lane creep, waited until the lane creep walked up to the opponent, and then popped out, just because they had their Storm Spirit on the map the whole time. Nobody expected the Lifestealer to be ganking with Infest, but it happened. So there's still definitely things like that to talk about. But you're right. People, as it heads towards the late game, for the most part, don't play very risky Dota.
Yeah, it's Tongfu and IG. Both of their styles are similar for that. And obviously Joe was a ex-IG player, and he's the captain here in Tongfu as well.
Yeah, and the one thing I guess that was interesting for me as well for Tongfu over the last couple of days is they've bumped Kabu down to support, and ZSMJ has been handling the off-lane/3 position.
Oh, has he?
Yes. So, and he's been doing very, very well. I mean, he was looking really strong on support. And, he was quickly becoming one of my favorite supports to watch, and maybe one of the best support players. And last couple of days, he's been on the 3. So
that's weird.
We'll see if it continues.
Yeah, from my perspective at least, I wasn't becoming a big fan of the ZSMJ. I don't know, like in the beginning, it felt like it took him a while to get into that role,
Definitely, yeah.
So it was really hard to watch that. But yeah, he was becoming much better. He was more like a 3.5 support player, basically.
Yeah, he was your quintessential greedy support player. Yeah. There are some teams where they'll allocate things a little bit more evenly in terms of who buys wards and stuff like that. There are other teams where one player is decidedly the 5 and just gets no farm, and then they try and pool a little bit more farm onto their other support. And Tongfu definitely were one of those teams. So I guess we'll have to see if ZSMJ is still supporting. It's just something to point out moving forward. I think some of it is because Winter was talking about Kabu not really playing like Nature's Prophet. And the one thing that sort of cemented it, at least for Winter yesterday, was that they picked a Doom, they ran it off lane, so in the 3 position, but it was ZSMJ playing it, and typically Kabu does also play Doom, so that was the one hint that it might be a slightly more permanent change. But again, it remains to be seen.
You haven't seen him play Timberside yet, have you?
I'm not sure. So
okay, as far as I know, that's one of Kabu's favorite heroes as well. Like he plays Clockwork really good, and you can see Clockwork was first base banned as well. But,
turn to ban.
Yeah, and actually the Enchantress ban is going to come out pretty early. I don't know how much of this tournament you've been watching, Deepan, just because of the time that it's on, obviously. But Enchantress has been pretty much Enchantress was pretty much first picked all the way through the group stage portion. And now that continued through into the playoffs, and now she's being banned a little bit. DK were using Enchantress as their opening pick just time after time after time. IG adopted that a little bit and also did very well. That was the one game that they took off DK in the group stage. So yeah, Enchantress has been moving up in the world.
what I can say about that is it's probably like the LAN flavor kind of
Yeah,
thing.
the
When it
local
comes
meta.
Yeah, when it comes to lands, teams tend to ban and
IG's
first
turn
pick
to ban.
similar heroes because during the tournament they don't want to make too many risky counter picks or bans like that. So they just go with the flow. And in this tournament, I guess the flow is the Enchantress being
10
first phase
seconds
picked,
remaining.
and we'll probably see like 2 weeks down the line the hero won't even
5
be
seconds
picked or something
remaining.
like that.
Yeah, Dota is a very trendy game. I mean, there are heroes that, and I guess the one example, this is a bit overdone, that people always bring up, but it's kind of, Darkseer, he nothing changed about Darkseer for ages, like minor tweaks, minor buffs, but he wasn't a competitive pick, and this is ages ago now. And then teams started running him, and then you look over the course of the last 2 years of competitive Dota 2,
remaining.
he was
Just gets nerfed every
yeah,
patch. I hate it.
he was played and
5
played
seconds
and played and played, and then he got nerfed a little bit and a little bit and a little bit, and then the game kind of changed, and now we don't see him so much. But the fact there are still definitely strong heroes in the pool, or there might be strong heroes left in the pool that are undiscovered just because teams don't really pay them too much mind. But 6.79 is a version we see a lot of the hero pool. Interestingly, if you consider the whole spectrum of Dota, all the different scenes and across the last couple of months, of 6.79, we've seen a lot of different styles, a lot of different picks. So I'm gonna keep ranting and raving. I think it's a great patch.
I think so too. I think this patch is very, very open to a lot of heroes, except for Bloodseeker. That hero, man.
Counter to Weaver, maybe.
The one. I still think that hero is getting like the least amount of love. You know what I would like to see more of? It's actually Meepo. I think Meepo is actually really, really powerful with this version.
Even with with some of the changes, because I mean I know a lot of people were summing up the changes and like the nerf to Tranquil Boots and the vision changes and things like that.
Yeah,
if you ask No Tail, then he'll tell you that he thinks
of course.
that he thinks that Meepo is nerfed overall.
Well, I guess I should say this patch, but like the buffs that he's been getting, I think they've piled up. Like when he gets Aghanims, he just becomes so powerful. Like it doesn't even matter which Meepo you end up focusing, Like it's just I think that hero has some really cool comeback mechanics.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, and I guess two changes that people might not remember off the top of their heads were Meepo obviously got his base magic resistance brought up. I think it was to 35%. And Visage also got his base magic resist nerfed to 10%. So it's not something that's immediately obvious, especially if you're just checking tooltips, but I guess it's something else to keep in mind.
Yeah. And wow, look at that. IG actually picked up Pugna in this game, and it's kind of weird because that's Tongfu's one of Tongfu's big heroes that Joe likes to play. Like pick the Pugna, farm them up with mana boots, push towers, make mech, 5-man some more, and just secure the game. Like I said earlier, like they're very systematic with how they play their lineups. And instead, IG, they know that Tongfu is really good with Pugna and stuff, and they're taking the heroes that can 5-man pretty well. And obviously Nature's Prophet can also split push. Like teams think that Nature's Prophet is just like a split push, or people think that it's just a split push, Rat Dota only type of thing. But Nature's Prophet is just gonna soak up the farm on the other side of the map when your team is just grouped up together, and he can join the fight whenever. And that's all they're gonna use him for, I think.
Yeah,
and that's what they're gonna use him for.
10 seconds.
Yeah. And while you look at Tongfu's lineup and you think that they have quite a bit of counter push, they've got a Venomancer, a Gyrocopter, a Rubik, and a Timbersaw. All of them are great at spamming down creep waves and holding off pushes. They're not so great at dealing with Pugna. And I mean, I've touched on this in the past, that the Pugna doesn't really care how long the creeps hang around. He just wanders up, puts the blast on the very edge of your tower, and then wanders away. So just sitting there with 3 heroes defensively spamming down waves doesn't necessarily hold on to your objectives against the Pugna. And Tongfu don't really have a whole lot of split push, so if they end up trapped behind their tower, then they don't really have any way to force IG into making decisions about defending their objectives and things like that. So something that Tongfu are going to have to keep in mind.
What are your thoughts on Tongfu's carry choice here?
The Gyrocopter.
Yeah.
We haven't seen so
10
much of him
remaining.
recently. I guess the nice thing is that it's one of your carries
5
that can buy
seconds
BKB
remaining.
pretty much first item and not be too unhappy, and it's kind of important to have against an
Reserve
OD
time.
and a Pugna. What's your take, Deep?
I'm not a big fan like recently of this hero. I just feel that it takes too much for it to become really impactful. But
So Earthshaker's the
IG's
pick for
turn to ban.
IG. Tongfu's still worried about a little bit more pushing power. They are going to end up getting rid of the Chen. I'm a little bit surprised to see the Earthshaker, honestly. If IG wanted to, there's still plenty of good pushing supports
10
left in the
seconds
pool,
remaining.
but they're valuing a little bit of maybe their own counter
5
push here
seconds
instead.
remaining.
I think it's just a really
Reserve
good combo
time.
with the Pugna. Like if Tongfu ever tried to go in on you, the Earthshaker, it's
Tongfu's
very
turn to
defensive
pick.
disabler, can just turn the fight. I think, like
Yeah.
he just splits them up, and these fights will be really really hard for Tongfu to take, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like people say, the best offense is a strong defense, and that's what this Earthshaker is gonna be.
Yeah, and I guess the other thing that's nice about the ES is that Pugna, for the most part, IG want to be fighting around the Nether Ward. You know, you kind of want to
10
place a Nether
seconds
Ward,
remaining.
and then Tongfu kind of get baited in, and you keep fighting around it, keep it alive.
5
And the Fissure is a
seconds
great way
remaining.
to just make space, keep the ward up, and continue
Yeah.
fighting. Really control the space.
10
And
seconds
Tongfu
remaining.
kind of have that. They've got some Plague Wards, they have a Call Down, but not to the same extent. And Tongfu actually just can end up
IG's turn to
grabbing
pick.
more spam here. And it looks like Venomancer is actually going to be bumped up a little bit in terms of farm priority. So it looks like maybe Veno mid against the OD, Timbersaw is the off lane, and then Rubik and Keeper of the Light as the supports.
It's a hero that they took to try and stop or slow down IG's pushes. But because they took this keeper, they're really relying on the gyrocopter to be really farmed and whatnot. And IG, they have 3 hex carriers, and they have a shadow shaman on top of that for another hex. So even this game going to the late game, I'm not sure the gyrocopter is going to be able to do much unless he snowballs really hard in the early game and Tongfu just take control of this game. I prefer IG's lineup. What do you think?
I think I have to agree with you, because for me, Tongfu, things don't look great if they do end up taking this late game, and I think they have to maybe just try and take early fights if they can, because as soon as they start losing those tier 1s and the gyrocopter's farming space gets restricted, then I don't think he's going to be able to carry the game.
10
So I'd really like to see
seconds
Tongfu, and I think if they're going to have a chance this game, maybe even
5
fighting for some of the
seconds
tier
remaining.
1s. Don't let the tier 1s go down without a fight, though. We'll have to see. It's going to be tough against a Shadow Shaman and a Pugna.
Run.
Okay. Oh, and I guess I'll ask you, make sure that your mic is on in-game. I haven't checked if it
Yeah.
is or not,
Prepare
but
for battle.
It's on now, I think.
sweet.
I
Okay, so guys, welcome back to the Redbull ECL. Again, we had plenty of delays, but as always, it's just the nature of the beast when it comes to these LAN events. Just going to sort out one little thing on screen, as you can see, and then we can get
I have
underway.
an issue.
What's up?
How do I?
How do you mute
turn-
me in-game?
No, because I haven't spectated in a game like this in a while, and it keeps going to the other screen. My mouse to my second monitor.
It's not trapped in the window.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
'Cause
kind
I'm spectating, right?
of happening to me as well. I don't know why.
Really?
Yeah, it's a bit.
30 seconds
I don't
to
actually
go.
use edge panning when I cast, so I guess I didn't notice it. But yeah, it's also happening to me right now. I know that I had somebody message me asking like, yeah, I can't get the Dota window to capture my mouse anymore. Like, what the heck is going on? And I wasn't sure, so. I'm not actually sure off the top of my head. But guys, this is the Redbull ECL. This is actually game 1 of this best of 3 between IG and Tongfu, and this is effectively your 3rd place decider. So it's a bubble race format. IG came out of the group stage as the number 2 seed. Tongfu were the number 3 seed, and they actually managed to defeat Titan yesterday, who were the number 4 seed. The loser of this is going to be your third place and go home with 1.7k USD, the equivalent. And the winner is actually going to advance to play against DK tomorrow. So the game started. Let's very quickly introduce our teams. Over on IG, we've got Ferrari 430 heading towards mid as the Pugna. We've got Banana on the Earthshaker looking to run some cheeky blocks. It seems like YYF is going to be on the offlane Nature's Prophet. We've got How on the OD, and Faith is going to be on the Shadow Shaman. And Theben, I'll leave it to you to handle Tongfu.
Alright, well, first off, on mid lane, it looks like Ferrari's gonna take some damage here, but alright, never mind. So, Joe, the captain, he's playing the Gyrocopter on top lane, with Sunshine playing the Kodo, supporting him, and Kabu on the Rubik. Battlemancer being played by Moo, and last but not least, ZSMJ, the new offlaner for Tongfu, playing Timbersaw.
Yeah, and it looks like it's basically... Well, it seems like it's basically confirmed now that ZSMJ is now the 3 for Tongfu, and Kabu is going to be handling one of the support roles. It could, maybe it'll end up just being for this tournament. Maybe somebody's sick. Maybe Kabu's sick, a little bit off his game, something like that. But seems to be the trend so far and it does seem like it is going to be a permanent change.
Yeah, hold on. I'm just going to take this time to try and fix this thing.
Yeah, no problem whatsoever. Okay, so checking on things, YYF, just your standard boots opening on the offlane. ZSMJ gonna end up grabbing a stat shield. Banana's actually made his way back down towards bot. I thought he was gonna be hanging around mid and either running this block over to the big camp, or he was gonna be running this block up to the Ancients. The Ancient block is actually very reliable if you're pulling mid. This one with the big camp is a little bit less so, but still about 70-80% of the time. But he's actually going to be making his way back down towards bottom lane. Looks like maybe going to be running some pulls. And ZSMJ, he does have really good information as to what's going on. Right now they do have a Dire Observer ward down here. We've been seeing this ward a lot recently, and this has been sort of a trend fairly recently in Chinese Dota, and I guess Dota in general, just to be placing these fairly aggressive wards for the offlaners, so they have a lot more information and they can get a lot of additional farm. And it does typically show up in the CS scores, though the Prophet and the Timbersaw are both 0-0 for the time being. So the supports have been doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, okay, never mind.
Can't fix it?
I wouldn't know how, but someone knew, but whatever. I'll just keep using my controls to...
Okay. I mean, you could try restarting Dota if you think that's going to help, but...
I don't think maybe? Okay, I will do that really quickly.
Okay, yeah, no problem. So you're going to cut out for anybody who's in-game, but that's no big deal. You'll be right back. So just checking in on things right now. We've got Joe doing very well in terms of farm, 22 and 6. The safe lane OD handled by How, also doing very well for himself. So it looks like we're probably expecting the mech to be up on the Pugna, maybe just an early 4-staff for the OD. Depends on how aggressive they want to go here. I haven't seen a Midas OD in a while, but if you're on the safe lane, I think there's something to be said for grabbing one.
Radiant structures are fortified.
What's your take, Theben? Even if people in game can't hear it. Midas OD?
Well, I don't think a lot of players have been using the new Midas on
since
OD,
it was nerfed.
Since he is safe lane, there is a pretty high chance, and he does have 1,100 health. I would think that he's getting a staff or treads first if he's not buying the Midas. Yeah, if he's not buying the Midas, but since he is saving up the gold, it could be just a Midas.
Double damage.
Yeah, we'll see what he ends up doing. There's going to be a D ward from the IG supports down on the bottom side of the map. Tongfu actually invested a lot of both of their early wards on the bottom side, so really emphasizing ZSMJ staying safe and managing to grab his levels. And he is an important hero, I guess, to have fairly highly leveled. You really want to get some value out of him in the early to mid game. He's going to be a really big source of damage. And along with Moo, he's the bulk of their counter push. Are you good?
Yep, Cybermet came to save the day.
Nice.
Now we're good. I can see everything, and I'll put up the scoreboard for myself now. And yeah, okay, so OD safe and farming. I do think this is gonna be a Midas, and it's gonna be like a backup plan, you know? Like, if their push doesn't work out, then obviously the OD late game is still gonna be an absolute monster. So it's like a win-win situation for IG.
Yeah, we haven't seen a massive late game OD in a while, but there's something to be said for a hero that can that quite comfortably buys a Hex and a Refresher. Like, double ult, double Hex can just win a fight for you by itself. And OD can definitely do that.
And like I mentioned during the draft too, IG have 3 Hex carriers, OD, Furion, Pugna, and then they have a Shadow Shaman on top of that who already has a Hex. So, like, late game, it's looking rough in my opinion for Tongfu.
Yeah. Do you like a greedy build from both YYF and from Hao here? Yeah, Hao's definitely going for the Midas, but the Prophet looks like he might also be doing the same thing. I guess the one thing is that they still have to make sure that they get some value out of the Pugna here. You don't want to pick a Pugna and then not really get down any tier 1s. So hopefully we'll still see a little bit of early movement from them, because while I don't know how worried they are about the Gyrocopter for the late game, I don't know if they should be risking it necessarily.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing Tongfu, like, because YYF just dished a lane, they've been trying to pressure this tower top a lot, and I feel like if they really wanted to, they could take this tower, but they're taking their sweet time right now, and that could prove to be a mistake. I think taking the first tower before IG does could be the momentum that Tongfu needs to be able to defend.
A little bit of trouble bot. Hex is the follow-up. Got the nuke, but nothing else. Sanity's Eclipse gets dropped. A little bit of a miscalculation, however, not going to be enough damage. ZSMJ Timber Chains away.
Yeah, that was truly unfortunate for Hao over there not getting that kill, but looks like it won't matter. And ZSMJ, he got a lot out of that since he didn't die, I think, because now he's not going to be too afraid of that ult coming to kill him. And Hao did make the Midas.
Yeah, it's going to end up being the Midas for Hao. He's going to duck over into the jungle, gives a little bit of extra farm to the Shadow Shaman, who can definitely use it if you get a fast 6. That should just be a pretty much guaranteed tier 1 somewhere down the line.
Top lane here.
Yeah, and Tongfu move in with 3 heroes top. They've pulled Sunshine out of the jungle. They're going to drop a call, then YYF eats the rocket barrage damage. And that's just first blood.
That
Solo
was
kill.
really cocky by YYF there. He probably didn't notice that Joe was level 6 or something, because
top tower has fallen.
If he knew that Joe was 6 and he had called on, like, I don't think he would have ever been in such position. So that's a tower and a first blood going to Joe. So. Oh
man, that exchange just then. So Kabu TP's bottom lane, places the sentry, hits the lane ward 3 times, and then makes sure that he gives the last hit to ZSMJ. So it looks like they're both on the same page in terms of who's the 3, who's the 4 now. Kabu is going to be in some trouble after placing that ward, gets caught out, 3 heroes move in, and 1 more right click from Faith brings him down.
To the other side.
Yeah, waiting for that rune, probably a mistake coming out from Sunshine over there. He really wanted to or not Sunshine, sorry, Kabu. Yeah, he really wanted to control the rune for his mid, but too much in danger. And it looks like ZSMJ, wow, if that's done, got off.
And not quite. Dodges past the Fisher. Okay, so I actually really like the way that Tongfu are playing this right now. They've definitely spotted the Midas on the OD. They can probably guess that it's going to be a Midas on the Prophet as well, and they're kind of taking the initiative. The Gyrocopter's not aiming for anything too late game right now. He's just picked up a Bracer, he's picked up some phase boots, he can start working on the BKB right away, and I think Tongfu could actually be the ones to start being a little bit aggressive, though Mu maybe disagrees. He's gonna buy a Midas. So
yeah, actually it's not so bad on the Venomancer in my opinion. Yeah, because he has everything that he needs right now. Going to the late game, Beno is one of those heroes that just does so much damage. You just don't expect it, you know, when he has many items.
Yeah, and a lot of levels as well. You know, gets to that rank 3 Poison Nova quickly, which the Midas can do for him. Then even if you win a fight against the Veno, you know, you take a fight 4 for 2, say, everybody who gets hit by the Poison Nova pretty much has to go back to base. So.
And just when we thought the Midas was out.
Well, this is what happens,
3 Midas in this game.
you turn up to cast a game and it turns back into Midas gaming.
Oh boy, just the way I like it, man. Just the way I like it. But it's just so disgusting. The 2050 gold minus, like
Invisibility.
1900 gold was so nice. It just had to ruin it.
Yeah. Well, and those Midases are actually going to start dragging the experience back in favor of IG
Moo?
after only a few
They're gonna do
activations.
that.
Moo wouldn't have known that this invis was picked up, so he's definitely a target. YYF going to be TPing around. They move in. They throw down the Decrepify. Blast as well. He is going to be able to haste. Tango's through. Had one remaining Tango, and that's actually going to end up saving his life, along with the haste rune.
You know, I actually played a lot of Pugna, and I think that ult is quite important to try and get some kills with. And Ferrari decided not to get the ult, and that I think costed him the kill on mid lane.
Yeah, just to go for a slightly more teamfight oriented build. He's probably still going to pick up the point in ult at 10, but you're an advocate for just grabbing it at 6 or 7 and calling it a day.
Yeah, I would even grab it at 6 just to have the chance to even solo kill someone with it. Like, they don't expect the damage, the extra damage coming from the ult.
Nice Timber Chain bot, saves Hao a little bit of damage. Sansheng has made his way down here as well. He was actually in the jungle a little bit earlier. It looks like he didn't set up any stacks for the gyrocopter, unless they've already been taken, so just kind of securing his own farm. And right now the game's actually taking it's a pretty slow-paced game so far.
Looks like Joe, they're TBing bottom. They want to go for this tower as a team. And oh man, this could be really, really problematic for IG if they end up losing this tower here.
Yeah, we'll see what the response is going to be for IG. Ferrari.
Oh, Kabu not trying to lift the OD there could prove to be a mistake. Because if he even tried to lift,
Banana in some trouble. Call down comes in, is going to connect once. He tries to turn around and drop a Fisher. Won't be able to. Hao eats some damage. Is going to be able to pop us out. Looks like he's going to be just fine. Moo blocks off the path through from the tower. But IG actually choosing to defend this. They TP'd in the Pugna. Won't be able to try for an exchange for the tier 1 mid. They're actually bringing everybody in to defend.
He has a mech as well, the Pugna. He farmed up Mana Boots bottom mech on mid lane, but that's pretty big.
Yeah, so. And Tongfu are actually going to choose not to take the fight. They just back off. Moo's going to head back to mid lane, and that's it.
Maybe because the Pugna TP'd in, they didn't want to fight under the ward, and they used the cooldown already, so probably going for the mid tower here like this is the better choice. Just force IG to move around compared to just fighting where IG already is.
Yeah, IG gonna try and make this a trade for the tier 1 bottom lane. They've got level 7 up on the Shadow Shaman, so they drop the wards. IG keep on stalling mid. Earthshaker's here along with the Pugna, so they've got plenty of good spam, but I think Tongfu should still be able to take this. Best case scenario is maybe a deny. Tongfu actually also going to be defending bottom lane. They TP in the gyrocopter, grabs himself a little bit of ward farm. But I think this tier 1 tower is still gone. Even more TPs on their way. They want this deny. Kanjo get it. Manages to snag it at the last moment. And IG gonna have to walk away empty-handed. Though they can deny the tier 1 mid. So it ends up being a deny for a deny trade. I think both teams maybe could have forced that. Moo's actually gonna run in, tries for the tower. Gets decrepified and then gets his life drained out of him. So that's the value of the point in the life drain there. That was a bit of an aggressive move. Okay, so David, you still with me, buddy? Huh? Maybe not. Okay, we'll keep on going. Maybe he'll pop back in. I'll check that the call is still active.
I was fiddling with my mic.
Okay. Hao dies to Hao's gonna end up dying to an Illuminate bottom lane. Two-man gank found him.
I was saying how I don't know what Moo was thinking there. I don't think he was even thinking about the Decrepify at all. That will stop his attack on the tower.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, just not thinking about it seems. So right now we've got a couple of trades going on. One kill is the lead in favor of Tongfu. Still very even in terms of gold. Experience ticking up in favor of the Radiant with those Midases working overtime. And it looks like IG are actually going to be taking this a little bit more towards the late game side of things. So orienting their OD as a carry. Moo's gonna run in, drops the Poison Nova. It's only for one hero, however. I think Banana was dead to rights anyway. TP's coming in. How? There is a stolen Netherward from Kabu sitting here. He's going to drop the Sanity's Eclipse, almost ends up dying as a result. Joe keeps on chasing. Rocket Barrage damage comes in, but there is a Force Staff away into the trees. But where's the rest of the IG team? Joe going to keep on fighting. Faith comes in with the Disables. They get the Decrepify, they get the Blast down. Moo again looking for the tower, brings it down. ZSMJ jumps in, also wanted the kill on How, but also brought down by the Disables from Faith. And Moo, I don't know if he's going to be able to escape, a little bit of body blocking, and he's still got quite a couple of seconds until he can try TP. Will also be brought down. They do finally manage to find How.
That blast.
He got blasted from all the way over in the trees, and he's unimpressed.
Even How is like, what? What did you just
do? So Sancheng was all the way over here. I didn't think he was going to die. I don't think How expected to die either, but cheeky plays from the Keeper of the Light.
All I can say about that is one by one they go, one by one they die. That was quite lackluster coming from Tongfu. Like How walking in there, chasing the OD where he probably has zero chance of coming out alive from. I don't know, man.
Yeah. And IG, it looked like they were going to be a little bit more defensive, but after that team fight, they swing mid, they pick up a very, very easy tier 1 tower. They do end up dropping the Serpent Wards for that one. Tongfu bring back the mech advantage, so equalize that. Moo's gonna grab one, but I think IG's still very comfortable with how things are working out. YYF, he's got his Midas, he's got 1400 gold. What's How got? 4 staff and 1k. We'll see what he ends up working towards next, but I think it's still up to Tongfu to keep on, applying pressure. Is there the BKB for the Gyrocopter? Yeah, there is. So.
I think if they let IG move on to their tower, then they will just lose that tower without a doubt. Under Pugna Ward and the Mass Serpent Wards, like, I don't see how Tongfu will have a fun time defending towers. But if they're aggressive and they're forcing IG to be the ones defending, then that'll be the better choice for Tongfu, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. It's very difficult to fight into Nether Wards, Serpent Wards, and then you've got the Earthshaker controlling all of the space as well. So, Tongfu, what are they setting up for right now? Looks like it might just be Roshan. Moo gonna throw down some wards in the pit. IG actually went for a 3-man smoke. Moving in right now, they're gonna spot out Moo. The Decrepify goes, in comes the blast, the drain too. Mech's gonna go, but in comes the Nature's Wrath, brings down the Venomancer. There is gonna be exchange. We know on the top lane, Echo Slam gets dropped on the Rubik's head. The SMJ will also take a fall to the Sanities. Sancheng pops out of that imprisonment only to die. Ferrari picks up a triple kill and ends up being 4 for 0 over at the pit. Zhou somehow grabs a kill on YYF top lane. I saw him throwing a homing missile earlier, and I just assumed that he was fine, but it looks like it caught up with him. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really awkward again coming from Tongfu. Like they were setting up for the Roshan, and
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Joe was busy killing top, and I don't know.
Wow, Faith has a Blink Dagger now, so this is a hard life for Zhou. Like, he has to be very proactive with his BKB now, which means that he can't run in and wait for a projectile to be moving at him and block it. He just has to pop it before he gets anywhere close to the fight. Otherwise, there's a chance he gets chain stunned to death.
Yeah, Face has been playing a really good game. Yeah. He's been spot on with all his hexes, where to push, where to get the free towers and whatnot. So that's been going really good for him. Like I said before, I think IG's lineup is just much easier to play than Tongfu's lineup is, because Tongfu, all they can really do is like defend with their spells and try to just be in the right place at the right time.
But they can't even defend with their spells, right? Like,
I know, because the Pugna Ward and yeah, but IG, all they have to do is just group up as 5 with Serpent Wards, Pugna Ward, the mech, and just take the towers, and then just snowball off of that. So,
and they've got the late game secured because they've got Midases and more disabled than you can shake a stick at. So,
exactly.
This is not looking great for Tongfu, but they're gonna try and make some plays.
They're gonna try again.
Yeah,
they're gonna try again with the Roshan, and it doesn't look like IG have much of an idea at the moment. We'll see from the movement their players are making if they know.
Yeah, I mean, they got them away from the pit a little bit earlier. This is going to take a while for Tongfu, unfortunately, so there might be a little bit of a hint.
Yeah, this is definitely taking some time, but
yeah, the pings are the pings are going now. But are they going to get there in time?
Too late.
No, it's too late.
Oh, Ferrari? Does he have some chances to die? He'll just walk away. He has a 4-staff too, so.
Look at the farm on this.
He is really farmed, man.
Wow. He's got a 4-staff,
really
he's got another 2.6k gold. He's doing very well for himself.
BKB is going to be quite crucial for this Pugna as well in this game.
Yeah, he's still pretty squishy. 853 hit points is not
bad. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he even chose to max out the Decrepify, interestingly. A lot of people will leave a couple of points in it, but...
Really?
Jump in from Faith is going to be able to get the BKB out of Zhou, 4-staff away, keeps him alive. They're just waiting out this BKB duration.
Nice play coming from Ferrari and Faith there. Forcing out that BKB and forcing out the Shadow Shaman after. Really, really good. And they're going to ward up the H's as well. So good stuff coming from IG there. I actually think Max Decrepify is still pretty good. Like the cooldown goes down and it does a lot of damage when you combo it up with your life stream. So the longer they're decrep, the slower they are, and the more damage they'll take from that.
Yeah, and they don't have a whole lot of right click until it starts to get pretty late in the game. So yeah, that's probably the right idea here. Tongfu, what can they do? They've got the Aegis. IG are just going to do their damnedest to wait that out, and I don't even know how worried they are. They're continuing to farm very well. It's difficult for Tongfu to push into tier 2s just because they've still got tier 1s that the Nature's Prophet can threaten, and yeah, it looks like IG are just unconcerned. They're going to drop some Serpent Wards bottom lane and go to town. Cowboy somehow steals Sanity's Eclipse. I don't know how that was the last spell that Hao used, given that it's off cooldown, but...
It's mostly because all the heroes have been
not
dodging the OD
the
entire time, so it's not using it. It's not like he uses Astral on himself, right? So just took it from the last one. Looks like they were content with just
Zhou gets hexed, in comes the rest of the Sable. Can they do enough damage to bring him down? Easily. And they just back away. A little bit of backup comes in from CitizenMJ. He's smoked. There's the in-person. How?
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Just some pressure. Maybe try to force some more TPs.
Yeah, they were making sure that somebody came to help him.
Yeah, they took top tower during that time. The Puna and the Furion.
And if Ferrari wants to buy a BKB, pretty much got it. Anything that he wants to buy at this point, he's not too far away. Even something like a Hex is not unreasonable. Could even end up being a Necrobook, perhaps. But
oh yeah, for sure. Like the Furion has one, and Necro is one of those items that in multiples they just do more work. Yeah. You just have to get rid of it. So.
It's just another thing that the Gyrocopter has to BKB for. If he wants to fight at all, and there are Necrobooks around, yeah, and it is going to end up being the Necrobook for the Pugna. And gives him a little bit of extra survivability as well, so not too bad to have. But this is looking worse and worse for Tongfu. I mean, they got no value out of that Aegis. Zhou does have a Demon Edge picked up right now, and do you think this is looking bad enough to even start considering a Rapier? I feel like a broken record because I think the last 3 games that I've cast have been like, does he buy a Rapier? But I don't know, I feel like it's been an appropriate question each time. So
I think for Gyrocopter, it's always a Rapier game, man.
Ferrari?
Ferrari. Is he gonna get... No. They have no disables, only Kabu is capable of.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Yeah, and meanwhile, IG, a little bit of pressure top lane from Ferrari, who gets out just fine. Tier 2 tower is going to fall bottom lane absolutely for free. IG are just splitting up the map really well. And this is just what we've been seeing from IG and DK over the last couple of days. It's not so much an inherent part of the draft. You know, there's no specific heroes that are needed for this playstyle. You know, the Prophet helps out a little bit, but it's just somebody goes and makes space, attracts 2 or 3 heroes. Meanwhile, everybody else is either farming or pushing an objective, and from there they just quite comfortably grind out the game. Get lots of gold, lots of experience, And once they feel that they have a team fight secured 100%, take that team fight and take the game. So it's up to Tongfu to see if they can get some smokes going. And I think that at this point that might be one of their only options. They have to get a pick off to break out of the situation.
Yeah, like IG are just content with just sitting back and farming away with their 2 Maduses and Furion.
3-man smoke. Even the base is not safe for Zhou. In comes the chain stun Sanity's Eclipse. And can they get everybody back at the safety? Just fine. Mu actually going to come in, tries to slow them down, but without the gyrocopter, won't be able to take that fight. And that's terrifying if you're the gyro. He just wanted to farm some creeps nice and safe inside his base. IG said no.
And you know what, Kip, like, he's the only one that can actually push out these lanes like really hard, because he's the one that needs all the farm on this team. And now that he's dead, I feel like Tongfu are just some cornered,
cornered
they're
animal.
Just cornered. They can't. Yeah, it's just some kind of cornered animal. Like they can't get out.
Yeah. They're going to do their best. It looks like they're going. So they're going for the smoke. I expect the play to be as soon as the gyrocopter respawns, recall.
I don't know
them
what
in.
they can do with this
But
smoke.
yeah,
To be honest, this is
they have to try for something though, right? You can't sit in your base and let IG win the game. So this is this is the moment for more desperate plays. Yeah.
Like, you can tell they have no idea what to do in this scenario, because it's a Timbersaw, Rubik, and Coddle, and no matter who they run into on IG side, they're probably gonna lose at least one hero for it.
Yeah, all of their burst damage is in the Timbersaw, and if he can't finish someone pretty much immediately, then help is going to be on its way. You run into the Earthshaker, you know, maybe you can burst him down in the duration of a lift, but after that, you can have a Prophet TPing in to catch somebody on the way. There can be a TP into a into a 4-staff from the OD, and if the Earthshaker gets any of his disables down, then he's even maybe the easiest target, but still very difficult. So, like you said, Tongfu just kind of give up on that idea. Zhou keeps on, or goes back to farming, and they're just sticking behind him right now, realizing that he's their only chance in this game, I guess.
Yeah, it looks like he is going to end up for a rapier, in my opinion. Like, an MKB won't change anything, and because he did buy like a Morbid Mass as well, the lifesteal, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the rapier. I think that's their best shot.
Faith jumps in, starts off on Sunshine. The call down is going to go. They're only going to get Faith out of this.
And they're gonna get some space on bottom though for IG as well.
Sunshine needs to make sure that he's not the one to kill that Necrobook. As you said, 2 heroes pushing in bot, Necrobook goes to work, they get the glyph out.
Yeah, all those TPs as well.
Yeah.
No.
And
look at that, like they got 1 kill on the Shadow Shaman, and they forced out 3 TPs onto bottom lane.
Yeah, and Faith wasn't even being backed up at all. I think that was he was just blinking in to make space. 100%. Like, there was nobody else nearby. If it was the solo Coddle, he gets the kill, but if there was anybody else there...
Yeah, exactly. Like, the fact that he died, it doesn't mean anything, basically. Obviously, he probably doesn't want to die, but whatever death comes from IG, they are creating space for something. Like,
oh, and it's the MKB.
430? 430? Okay. I just ran around a little, 4-staff down, lost like...
all of his mana.
3/4 of his mana pool. Yeah. Did he buy MKB? He did. Alright. Maybe in his eyes he doesn't feel so afraid.
So pressured.
Yeah, so pressured or something. Like that.
I think there's still a chance that they've still got some tier 2s. If they win a fight, they're also working towards a Necrobook on the Venomancer. So even if they win a fight that's fairly far back, I think they're still in a fairly far back towards their side of the map. I think they're in an okay position to maybe still fight out and still get an objective out of it, but it's tough.
I just feel like it's hard, even if they do win a fight, like to push out against Furion, Pugna, Shadow Shaman, like all these heroes. All of Tongfu's lanes are constantly pushed in, and even if they do, I don't know, man.
Yeah, and we've already got the beginnings of a Hex over on the OD. He's actually getting very close, only needs to farm with the Void Stone. Faith is just kind of sitting behind him right now, clearing some camps, regenerating some mana. And Tongfu getting what farm they can, but almost all of that farm is going to the Gyrocopter. Mu is still ticking up a little bit because of his Midas, and he's, scavenging where he can, but they know that they need to get as much on this gyro as humanly possible. Like, ZSMJ has nothing. He's not on the priority list at all.
Yeah, he's going for a BKB now. Probably a good choice to fight. Like, when you're playing against Pugna 2, like, that ward does a lot against Timbersaw if you don't have a BKBs.
Yeah. Tongfu, Roshan's respawn, they find a DD, they're going to move in here. Looks like IG don't actually have any idea that this is going on. But they'll probably scout it fairly soon. There will be a bit of a clue when nobody responds to this tier 2 top lane. But Tongfu actually taking it pretty quickly with this DD. Treant's moving in, this might be a bit of a hint, but looks like IG still not too concerned. No TP's going anywhere. Just gonna take this top tier 2 and call it a day.
Dire's top tower has fallen. Roshan
looks like I think IG actually knew that the Roshan was happening, but they just didn't want to actually fight there.
Yeah, I think because as soon as the Treants moved in, and you know what happened with the tier 2 top, it was obvious. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Please continue.
I was gonna say, like, Tongfu's best chance of a comeback is just going to, or IG going to them and just losing the fight, basically. So IG don't want to even give them that opportunity. They'll just sacrifice that Aegis and just keep on farming away, getting further ahead. They're
definitely winning in the farm war right now. How has that Hex? Still has plenty of space to pick up a Shiva's and a Refresher if he would like. And once he gets to that point, like we talked about in the early game, he gets into 1v5 territory. He even walks up onto the hill very aggressively. He doesn't force staff to get down onto the low ground. It eats up the remainder of his mana, but it's actually going to be just fine. Sho is going to throw down some right clicks up the cliff. How turns around and is going to be a little bit cheeky. Another Illuminate comes in. How maybe can have a flashback to bottom lane, but no, he's just going to TP.
You know, that's just space again. Like, he was trying to push it to the absolute limit. Like, try to make Tongfu think that they have some chance to kill him, so that they can apply more pressure onto the top lane.
Oh, Echo Slam comes in from Banana.
Still got a
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Too much chain stun. And Faith jumps in mid, drops the wards on Kabu. They're close enough to the tower as well to maybe get a couple of auto attacks down. Sansheng walks in. Doesn't want to stay too close. He's going to be able to back off. But that's 2 heroes dead on Tongfu, and IG not even breaking a sweat for that.
Yeah, another like 2 kills and the tier 2 tower. IG just... They're just steamrolling right now, man.
Yeah, this really feels like IG giving Tongfu a bit of a taste of their own medicine. I don't know if you caught... So it was a round-robin group, right? So everybody played everyone, and how 4 staffs in, Joe a little bit outside of the base, and that's going to be the Aegis popped. I don't know what he was doing out here. 2 of his heroes are dead. He's going to be forced to use the BKB, but that's probably only going to get him back up onto the high ground. I think Joe's realized that he's made a little bit of a mistake. Won't even be able to get the ward. Decrepify comes out from Ferrari. And another Hex online. This just feels like GG. I mean,
this is basically like the lineup talking right here. Like we mentioned during the draft, that IG's lineup is just so, in my opinion, more superior.
BKB TP goes out. Ferrari walks in a little bit close, pops his Necrobook, a little bit of extra move speed. He's already used his 4 staff. And Tongfu have 0 chasing power whatsoever. Like, they're close, like but they just can't stop anybody.
Yeah, like telekinesis is the only disabled they have to like stop these TPs.
Yeah, and Rubik doesn't even have a 4 staff or anything, so he's just waddling up with his terrible base move speed.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
It's like they have no way to catch anyone, basically, and that's why we keep saying that the gyrocopter is the only way out for them, and that's a rapier gyrocopter. You gotta sit behind the rapier gyrocopter and hope that he'll carry you the game.
Hopefully. And going back to the thought about IG giving Tongfu a taste of their own medicine, the game... Well, never mind. More stuff is happening. Joe's gonna walk in. Sansheng on the chase. Gets the mana leak out onto YYF. He's just gonna run that all the way out. He's not too concerned. Pops the Necrobooks. Can they kill off this missile before it hits him? Nope. So... but okay, finally getting around to this thought. The game that Tongfu beat IG in over in the group stages was an extremely drawn-out affair where Tongfu took 2 lanes of racks and then just started sending summons at buildings until they died. And getting that thought out, Faith jumps in, more space created perhaps, drops the wards, he's used what he had to. They will be able to bring down Show with the Sanity's Eclipse. Looks like he got hexed up. San Sheng gets hit by the Sprout. Down he'll go, in jumps Banana with the Echo Slam. ZSMJ will be the next one to fall. 3 kills in favor of IG, and Show, he's had enough. That's the GG. Yikes.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Quite the impressive play coming out from IG. I mean, like I said, the draft advantage, I think IG had it, but playing it through cleanly like this, I think it was quite impressive.
Yeah, IG just played a super clean game. I don't think there's much else to say about it. So we'll see if Tongfu can maybe find their feet a little bit better in game 2. I guess we've now got another Hearthstone break.
Oh, sweet! You get to watch another Hearthstone game, man.
Nice. I'm excited. I'm pumped. Okay.
For what? Another half hour?
Yeah,
hour?
Probably. I think it's like the schedule. The amount of time that they allocate is 45 minutes. So
I hope it's not like an hour.
Yeah. Hopefully not. They will probably run some ads and stuff in between. So we'll.
Are you 100% sure there's another game?
I'm not 100% sure. We'll figure it out once we jump out of here. If the lobby is back up again, then we're probably just heading straight into game 2. But guys, thank you very much for tuning in. This is the Redbull ECL. It's IG versus Tongfu. It's a best of 3 for the bubble race playoff portion of this competition, and IG currently find themselves 1-0 up in this best of 3. I'm Basekip. He's 1437. You can find us both on Twitter. Thank you very much for tuning in. We're going to jump out to a break, figure out exactly what's going on. And we'll see you soon.